If we are not in the habit of building relationships, meeting new people, expanding our territory, expanding our reach, then it's going to impact your business. Hey friends, I'm Rosemary Lewis, your homegirl, and I'm so excited that you are here. I do not care what it looks like on Instagram or HGTV. This whole being a realtor thing is not for the faint at heart. In 2017, I quit my job as a teacher to follow my real estate dreams and quickly found myself overwhelmed and struggling. Fast forward to today, not only have I been recognized as one of the leaders in our industry, I have actually grown a business that I absolutely love. I don't care if you're a brand new agent trying to figure out how to get started or a veteran feeling overwhelmed and just stuck. I was just like you, and I totally get it. Many times I wish there was someone that I could just talk to about all the challenges I was facing. And that is why I created this space just for you. Like best friends do, I'm giving you all the tea related to navigating and thriving in these real estate streets. If I can do it, guess what? That's proof that you can too. Everything's better with friends, so let's succeed together. Welcome to the Real Estate Bestie podcast. Well, hello there, real estate besties. Welcome to episode number 126, child, where we are about to talk all about how to network as a real estate agent. And listen, do not check out. I know that some of you are probably cringing just when I mentioned the word networking. And we are going to unpack. We're going to unpack all the things that have been standing in our way. But before we get into it, let me just shout out my girl, Abulavi, who left a review on the podcast. Now, I'm very excited because in a couple of weeks, I just had an opportunity to interview Ablavi, but she is a real estate bestie who was a part of Real Estate Bestie Academy. And I was so delighted because today I saw that she left us a review and she said, "There are many coaches, but there's only one Rosemary Lewis. Rosemary makes real estate personable and practical. My only regret is that I didn't find her earlier in my real estate career. Her free content is great and her paid content is definitely worth the investment. Do yourself a favor and engage at whatever level you can. You won't regret it and your business will grow because of it." Listen, Ablavi, thank you so much for that super, super sweet review. And I love it, y'all. And I'm going to encourage you to do exactly what Ablavi said. And the fact that you are here, that means that you are engaging at the level that you can. And when it's time to take it up and we have opportunities, I just hope that you take us up on that. But she was just a joy to work with in the academy, as was everyone. We just wrapped up Real Estate Bestie Academy, and truly, everything that we do here, I'm always thinking about, like I tell you, this podcast, the courses, the retreat, everything that I do is just as much for me as it is for you, because I literally think like, who did I need and who do I need? Like, what are some of the tips? What are some of the tricks? What are some of the ninja moves that the top of the top are doing? And not only that, like, who can I talk to about my struggles, my challenges on figuring out not only real estate, but this thing called life. And let's bring Jesus all the way in the center of it too. That's what we're here for. So Blavi, thank you so much for that sweet review. And y'all, speaking of all the tips and tricks, we are going to talk today on how to network as a real estate agent. It's interesting because and I already know you're cringing. I know some of you, just the fact that I said networking, there are some besties on the other end of wherever you're listening to me, and you're like, ugh, because you think about, these networking events where everybody, and I've been to them, you all have been to them, and I'm not even gonna lie to say that you won't still have to go to them sometimes, where everybody's just like, look at me, and it's like, oh, everyone is there to be a taker, right? And quite honestly, it's a turnoff for a lot of us from the very beginning. But I want us to think about it differently, because here is the reality of our business. And I was thinking about this today. I listened to a different podcast. Actually, it was a Audible book that I'm listening to. And it talked about real estate in two different ways, right? And whether or not you know it, there are two main primary focuses of our business. One of them is we are in the business of lead generation. There has to be a way that we are generating leads, and we are in the relationship business, right? And quite honestly, we end up generating a lot of leads based on the relationships that we have. But if we are not in the habit of building relationships, meeting new people, expanding our territory, expanding our reach, then it's going to impact your business. I'm not even going to say it's going to be detrimental, but the thing is, the more fish we have to, if we're fishing in a pond, do you want to fish in a pond where there are 3 fish or 300? And the networking is a huge piece of it. And I know that some of us, we have to really figure out, okay, how do we go about doing it? Because I'll tell you, like when I was an elementary school teacher, I didn't necessarily have to network in order to, I didn't have to network to do the job that I was doing. I was still in the relationship business, but my clients, my students, came to me every day. Like I didn't have to straight up market for them. And this piece was a little bit daunting, I guess I should say, before I got into it. And I just want to throw out a few tips on how to network, where you can go, what are the things that you can be doing. And just like Ablavi said, we want to make it as practical as possible. So listen, I wanted to start this conversation with a good old definition of networking. And in order to do that, I went to the Google. Okay, I went to Google and I literally Googled what is networking, and I got a definition actually from Indeed.com. And Indeed is, where you can post jobs and all that stuff. So according to Indeed and Google, first of all, they said that networking is one of the best skills you can acquire. And it says when you're able to use your networking skills to your advantage, you can gain opportunities that you may not have access to otherwise. And that is so true. Y'all listen, no lie, I just hung up the phone with a potential client. I'm partnering and working with a potential client. And the price point of the home that the client is looking for, once we close it, the commission on that one sale will exceed what I made as a classroom teacher. Okay, I got paid about $55,000 a year. And this one commission, when we get this house, find it and get it closed, is going to exceed that. And do you want to know where this client came from? It did not come from cold calling. It did not come from door knocking. It did not come from paid ads. It came from a relationship that was acquired through networking, a relationship that was acquired through expanding my territory. And when this person was, relocating to my area, I was the for sure choice because they're in relationship with somebody I'm in relationship with, right? So understand that sometimes you got to get a little bit outside of yourself, because you literally could be cutting yourself off at the knees by not stepping out and networking. So what is it? According to Indeed, a simple definition of business networking is meeting new people in your profession or industry with the intent of exchanging ideas or information. Okay. Now that is the definition of like business networking. And I'm definitely going to talk a little bit about business networking, but literally I think that like if we get rid of the word business, it is just meeting new people. When you're networking, you want to be in a space where you are getting in front of and where you are meeting new people with the intent still of exchanging ideas of information, because I want you to know me. I want you to know what I can do, how I can serve you. And then also like in turn, someone might be able to be of service to you. So this is definitely, I think that when we think about it from that aspect, I think that is a game changer, because I don't want you to network from the stance of how can I, like, what can I get? I'm going to be a taker, but who can I serve by growing my database? Who can I serve by growing my sphere? And honestly, like that is what shocker this business is. If you are in real estate and you have yet to accept the fact that it is a business of serving, then you might want to, I'm not even gonna say accept it. If you haven't embraced the fact that as real estate agents, we are in the business of serving, it's going to make for a very difficult business for you. And interestingly enough, y'all, I went to a marriage conference. I'm going to tell you all about that experience in the next episode, because it's going to tie into just why I believe so strongly in getting in the right rooms. But it was interesting because one of the speakers said that in a marriage, you are either going to serve or suffer. Right? So if you're in a marriage and you're thinking that it's all about you, all about your happiness, and we haven't understood that Christ has designed us to be of service to our spouse and our spouse to be of service to us, right? It goes two ways. And then you're going to suffer. And I really think that's the same thing with real estate, right? Either you're going to serve at a high level. Is one of our fiduciary responsibilities is to always consider the needs of our clients before our own. So either we're going to serve or you're going to suffer, right? And if you suffering, you're going to be out the business. So I do want to just give you that kind of idea, is that the more that we network, the more that we get to know new people, then we are expanding our territory. But how? How do we network? Because I'm going to tell you, like for me, first of all, let me just talk about something. Okay. And this is not in my notes, so I may be going off on a tangent a little bit, but go here with me. First of all, I think that we got to unpack the fact that people are just people. I don't care if they're fancy people. I don't care if they, live in bigger houses than you. They're in a more affluent neighborhood. I do think that we need to talk through the fact, or even if they're just different people. Like, let's just say that y'all on level playing field, or maybe you might even be a little bit ahead of the curve of them. Sometimes I think we come to these networking opportunities where we just get to meet people, and there is just a lot of anxiety around just getting to know folks, and the whole like being in your head about who you are or are not can step in the way. It can literally be a blocker between us getting to know the right people in the right rooms. So I really want to talk about that, or I at least want to point that out, is that, I'm going to encourage you to just always be affirming yourself in God's word. Know that if he placed you in this business, he has a plan and a purpose for your life. So we don't have to be secret agents. We don't have to be in a shell, and anything that would make you believe that you shouldn't, like nobody would like me or think I'm interesting, or I'm not dressed a certain way. Like, just show up, right? Because just like we can have all these blockers in our mind that will just block us from opening our mouth. So that's number one. Okay. Had to put that out there because it has blocked me in the past. And then I always tell people, you're doper than you think you are. One of my friends told me that. It sticks with me. And just know that you are super dope. You are super valuable, and you deserve to be in any space, any room you walk in. Now, here's the next thing. But how do we network? So the very first thing that I want to share is, I don't want you to overthink it, because literally every opportunity that you have to just chat with somebody you don't know is an opportunity to network. So the first thing that I'm going to say is, how do you network? Open your mouth, right? Look for all of the different ways. I bet you when you start paying attention, there are a lot of opportunities in our everyday life. I'm talking your everyday, running your errands, being out and about. There are opportunities to have conversations, to network, and get to know other people. Now, I've shared with you in previous episodes, we'll link you here. I want to say it was a couple of episodes about how to strike up and have real estate conversations. I give you a ninja tip on how to bring up real estate in any conversation. That's back in episode 123. You can link it here, or rosemarylewis.com/123. But literally just start opening your mouth and talking to people. So when you're at the nail shop, when you're getting your car washed, when you are out and about and you are in a long line at the grocery store, when you are standing at a game, like there are so many opportunities that if we stop like putting our face in our phones and actually look and connect with the people that we are actually in front of us, those are different networking opportunities. What's funny is, y'all, today I make phone calls every single day to my database, and I was reaching out to my database today, and I called my girl Tiara. Now, let me tell you something very, very interesting about Tiara. And you hear how I'm talking about it like my girl, because that's my dog, right? Tiara is my dog. I met Tierra, y'all, in 2019. It was right before the pandemic. I was going to get my nails done, and I used to go get my nails done and like be on my phone or watching a show or listening to a podcast. But then I realized, like, hey, I'm plopped in a seat next to somebody. This is a great opportunity to at least attempt at the conversation, right? So we are sitting there getting our nails done, and it was around Christmas time. She got this really pretty red color on her nails, and I literally struck up a conversation, right? So I started off with asking her about her nail color, and I talked about how like red just isn't my color on nails, so whatever color I was getting. And just from there, y'all, before Tierra left, we were Facebook friends. I knew that she had just built her house, all these things. And y'all, Tierra and her husband, now she has never bought with me, but she and her husband have referred me no less than 6 people. I've closed at least 4 of them. And today when I got off the phone with her, because I just called to check in, she hung up with like, okay, love you, girl, from the nail shop, do you hear what I'm saying to you? From the nail shop. So I want you to first think through all of your like daily activities. Do you go to the same spot to pick up lunch, or are you in a co-working space? Like I think about where my office is. We office in a co-working space where there are different people all around. Like where can you continue to plant seeds, have conversation, go the other extra mile, friend them on Facebook, all of that. Those are networking opportunities, right? I think about and listen, I'm thinking about Tierra, but I'm thinking about all the other times where I've been so self-absorbed with myself, where I was getting my nails done and my hair done, and I wasn't communicating to the people that were right in my space. I could have not only missed out on commissions, but opportunities to serve them, right? So that's the very first thing I want you to do. I want you to open your mouth and open your eyes when you are in these regular old errand situations, errand, like you're running errands, and think through how you can turn that into networking opportunities. Okay. Number 2, social functions. Okay. Let me tell you something about me. Okay. And I want this to be about you too. My friends already know, if you invite me anywhere, right? If you invite me to your kid's birthday party, to the bar mitzvah, to the football game, if we going to Galentine's, we just had Valentine's Day just passed. So Galentine's, anything social, let me tell you what your girl is going to recommend that you do. I love it that I came with my husband or I came with my friends, but I am there to work that room and network and create new relationships. Okay. So when you go to social functions, don't just be a wallflower. Don't just talk to the people that you came with, but simply like walk around. You can ask, an easy way to start a conversation with somebody is to ask them, how do they know the host? Like whoever invited you, ask them like, how do they know them and what is that commonality? And even if you don't have a commonality, oh, Amber invited me because we both went to college together. Oh goodness. Okay. That's awesome. I went to school up north. I know y'all went somewhere south. Where did you go to college? Right. So having that conversation, and I'm always looking to friend people on social media. I am definitely going to ask, where do they live? It turns any conversation into a real estate conversation, and voila, right? You have more people that are in your network, in your database. So make sure that when you go to those social functions, and listen, for my introverts, I get it. My husband is an introvert, but can you connect with one person? Like literally, can you walk up to one person and give them a compliment and strike up a conversation? And I do want to back up and say this, okay? And even like taking it back to the nail shop. Everybody you talk to is not going to be like Tierra, right? Who's going to be so chit chat. And honestly, Tierra wasn't that chit chatty. Like I was just chatty enough with her, but we have built rapport over time. But everyone's not going to be as forthcoming, right? But shoot your shot, right? You never know. You're going to miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. But if you actually are willing to take the shot, you just never know. Like you might mess around and get a triple double. I don't even know basketball like that, but it sounded good, didn't it? It sounded like I know what I was talking about. So when you go to these social functions, use every social function as an opportunity to network. And then it doesn't feel as like clammy as some of the other things you might do. Okay. Then here's the next one. 3. how to network. Community, any community-based function that you go to is an opportunity to get to know people, right? So let me tell you how this shows up for a lot of us. And I get it. I know you're busy. I know you are showing your clients, you building this real estate business, you have your familial obligations, you doing all these things. But are there different things going on in your community, right? Is there a garage sale? Is there a volunteer opportunity at the kids' school, right? Are you able to serve on some sort of like pack lunches or something like that? Like what are the different community events that come up? And now, if you are going to these things, first of all, it's great to just have a heart of service, but you're going to these things and now it's going to open up, give you an opportunity to meet people, to serve alongside them, and to expand your network that way. I know so many people, like I'm thinking of a person right now that I know 1,000,000%, like 1,000,000%, 100% of her business, almost all of her business comes from a community event that she is heavily involved in, because the same people show up, the same people serve, and that literally has become her referral network. But if she wasn't first willing to go to this community thing, then that wouldn't have been an option. So I'm going to encourage you all to open your mouth, to first of all go, but when you go to these community things, whether it be a charity, whether it be, is your neighborhood having bunko night? Is someone doing a garage sale thing? Is there a school event where you can set up a table and volunteer? Can you join the PTA? What are some of the ways that you actually can serve in your community, but also network with other people who are there? Okay, it's huge. And then here's the last thing I'm gonna say, which is the part that I think people cringe at, but there is so much value in this. Networking at professional conferences. I made a decision this year. So me and my husband, we do a lot of travel. We end up going on a few trips, right? We like to travel. We like to travel at least once a quarter. We like to do the staycations and things like that. But y'all, outside of my wedding anniversary this year and outside of that, and we probably will do something for the holidays with our kids, I have decided that every piece of travel that I do this year is going to be for a professional conference, a professional network that is going to be growing me in some form of business, right? And let me tell you why I've made that decision. For a few reasons. First of all, every single time I invest and I go to a conference, every time, not only do I either walk out with 1 or 100 nuggets that I'm like, okay, what am I going to apply? And it changes me. Like I literally feel like I'm floating because I am starting to grow. But let me tell you, the true cherry on top is that what I have learned as it relates to building my professional network is I need to continually put myself in rooms with people who also are willing to invest in opportunities to grow. I was telling the real estate besties, right? I don't want to be that, like I used to be that realtor that I went to all of the free title. And I'm not knocking it. When you're starting out, definitely like the free title company trainings, the little goal setting things where they hired a little coach, like you come and get your CE, all of that stuff. Yes, those things are cute. But I want to put myself in rooms where the best of the best is coming to teach me something. But because more than any, like in addition to what I'm going to learn from the main stage, I know that the networking that I am going to do with the other people, with the other women in real estate, women in business, even like this past weekend, I went to a marriage, like I said, I went to a marriage conference. I met 3 wives there. Like if you and your husband found it significant enough to take 2 days off work to come and to learn about putting God in the center of your marriage, yep, you are somebody that I want to be around. And I left with new people's information. When you go to professional conferences, professional events, it is like you're going to meet top tier people, right? And let me tell you what top tier people do, okay? Top tier people don't gatekeep. Top tier people send referrals. Top tier people tell you who is doing their social media and where they got these business cards and how they got this last listing. and what they ordered on Etsy for their pop buys, right? When you put yourself in top tier situations, right, with the right folks that are doing things at a high level, what that relationship ends up doing, or those relationships end up doing, is that it heightens your frequency, right? You are going to vibrate at a higher level because of what you're exposed to. This is how, don't have nothing to do with nothing, but it has everything to do with everything. I've given the example before, y'all, of one time I was at, what's the cake place? I was at Nut Bun Cakes, okay? And I was at Nut Bun Cakes because I feel like I don't know who I was getting a cake for. I used to always include them in my closing, like, gift. But when I was in Nut Bun Cakes, the man in front of me ordered a buntlet, the individual one, not the little mini ones, but the individual buntlet. And when he ordered that buntlet, friend, I'm about to put you on game if you ain't never heard this. When he ordered that buntlet, he said, hey, let's just say it was red velvet. I want a red velvet buntlet with extra cream cheese. And do you know that lady in the back? I'm thinking, extra cream cheese? He tripping, right? Listen, the lady in the back grabbed that buntlet, opened it up, and put extra cream cheese on it. If I was not in the right room at the right time, let me tell you something. If you haven't had a buntlet with extra cream cheese, you have not lived your life. But if I wasn't there when he did that, when he had that conversation, I would have completely missed out on that ninja tip. Rosemary, are we talking about cream cheese and networking? Go with me here. We are talking about what happens when you get in the right room and it opens up your world. It opens up your opportunity. And these professional conferences, these professional events that you can go to, like, I used to be the type of person that was like, I would try to give myself every reason why not to invest in these type of events. And at the end of the day, I just didn't believe in myself enough to go, right? I threw every shoulda, coulda, woulda. But the reality is when you get into the right spaces where information is being shared and a certain caliber of person is there, then it definitely opens your eyes to what is possible, what's possible for your business, what's possible for your life. And it literally changes the game. That is a cheat code for many people. But here's the thing, though. When you go to these networking events, these professional things, remember, we don't want to just go and be takers. We want to go and be givers. So I'm going to encourage you, and these might be conversations you have to have with yourself about, shaking off imposter syndrome, or if you are dealing with imposter syndrome, to go anyway and to actually celebrate other people and to share your strategies, because I guarantee that there are some ways that you are going about your business and some things that you have learned that in a room you will be valuable to other people. So not only do we discount the value that someone can bring into our lives, sometimes we discount the value that we can bring into each other's lives. But we also are going to have to come from a place of abundance, right? You can't be the type of person who is scared to go to an event because you scared these people go learn your tricks and do stuff like you. No. What God has for you, He has for you. So going to these professional conferences and networking and opening your mouth, and like I say, just like if you were at that birthday party, I want you to get off the wall and get to know people and meet them and compliment them. It is the same thing professionally. And I will tell you that, again, it will do wonders for your business, right? Not only to find out what people are doing, the people who you hope to aspire to be with or be like, right? My pastor just said this. I always want to be in relationship with people who are headed in the same direction or already at the destination where I want to go. But then just the other peers that are there, from sharing referrals to sharing ideas, it is top tier. Okay, it is top tier. And remember, the whole point of networking is to meet new people because it opens you up to brand new opportunities. So, recap, how do we network? Let's talk about it. Number one, you open your mouth when you run your errands. Anywhere you go, you look at that as a networking opportunity. You engage at these social functions. You join some community functions. That's number three. You engage at the community level. And then finally, you put an investment in yourself for these professional conferences and you get in the right rooms. Now, you might know where I'm going with this, right? Because we friend, Bestie, we have created a room for you that I know is way more than just a real estate conference. It is an experience. And the Real Estate Bestie Retreat, friend, it is happening April 9th through the 11th. Now, why should you come to the retreat? Because it's literally going to be like top business strategy married with an amazing girls trip with your real life real estate besties. And if you don't know us for real yet, you're going to get to know us. But then also we're going to have Jesus at the center of it all. So we are going to really dive into how our faith plays a major role in our business and how we truly, like I truly listened when I read the Bible today, it was like, Lord, I believe, but help me with my disbelief. So really unpacking if God really is who he tells us he is, and can we believe him for every area of our life, including our business. So if you know that this is the year that you get off the sidelines, where you link arms with some real estate besties, I'm going to encourage you, head on over to rosemarylewis.com/retreat or realestatebestieretreat.com. Either one of those links will work, and we will also link it here. And go ahead and get your ticket, because we are going to demystify what it looks like to show up in a room where you belong in, where you are going to grow, where you are going to engage. And honestly, we're all going to get better together. So I hope this was a helpful episode. If you would do me a favor and go ahead and give us 5 stars, leave a review, and more importantly, though, share it with your real life real estate bestie, especially a bestie who should be in the room with us in April. All right, talk to you soon. Bye-bye. If you enjoyed this episode and you have a real life bestie that you think it would resonate with, y'all, do me a favor. Go ahead and hit that share button, because you know what? We are better together. Make sure you share the podcast, and I appreciate your reviews. I appreciate you giving me 5 stars more than you know. I'll talk to you next week.